Welcome to Triumph IAS. It's a daily mains practice question and answer series. This program is exclusively designed for UPSC CSE aspirants. In this video discussion, we will discuss UPSC CSE mains previous 25-year questions. Question number 1. Assess the importance of the accounts of the Chinese and Arab travelers in the reconstruction of the history of India. Let's start with the introduction of the answer. The accounts of the Chinese and Arab travelers are treated as one of the most authentic source of reconstructions of history of India. The main body of the answer should be number 1. While the Chinese travelers visited India predominantly during 5th to 7th century AD, when Buddhism was flourishing in the country, most of the Arab travelers visited India during 8th to 14th century AD. When the subcontinent was under Islamic rule. Number 2. Accounts of Chinese travelers like Fahin, Sagyu, Huenzhang and Ising provides non-biased account of the rulers of the time as well the socio-economic conditions that prevailed during the time. Number 3. Fahin gives an excellent geographical account of the Silk Route. Ma Huan gives important information about 15th century India. Number 4. The accounts of Arab travelers provide meticulous details of various ports and towns and major items of merchandise exchanged between far-off lands. Al-Masudi's accounts describes the history of North India during the reign of Mihira Bhoja. Al-Biruni gives first-hand information of the plundering by Mahmud of Ghazni. Conclusion of the answer is: the information provided in these accounts on the basis of their personal experiences and direct contacts with people has helped historians to reconstruct the history of the ancient and medieval period. Question number 2. Individual parliamentarians' role as the national lawmaker is on a decline, which in turn has adversely impacted the quality of debates and their outcome. Discuss. Let's start with the introduction of the answer. Paradigm shifts are in order. In planning, the emphasis would shift from top-down to multi-level planning. Multi-level planning is expected to improve the position with regard to constraints in policy formulation and increase the efficiency of resource use in economic sectors. The main body of the answer should be number 1. It would lead to better interest articulation with regard to local development needs and better intersector linkages and coordination in planning and implementation respectively at the local level. Multi-level planning is also expected to make operations cost-effective by providing better linkages between relevant sectors and ready access to required information, which would remove many implementation blockages, for example, by way of delayed decisions. Number 3. Multi-level planning is expected to reduce regional disparities and bring more equity in development, since the chief factor behind persistent regional imbalances has been diagnosed as unstudied application of the macro plan at micro levels without necessary modifications detailing by the local development planners to address the particular requirements of an area target group. Number 4. Development planning is expected to simplify the implementation process by infusing role clarity, removing overlapping between sectors, and establishing needed linkages for set output levels. Number 5. Local development planners can decide on the territorial level, with Gram Sabha, Samiti or Jilla Parishad, where a function can be performed with maximum impact and economy. Also, policy needs to be comprehensive with respect to all ramifications. Number 6. For required harmony, interactive mechanisms would have to be devised to collate information at each stage to ensure backward and forward linkages with regard to progress achieved, intersector impacts, externalities, requirements for improved performance, necessary horizontal, I-sector-sector linkage, and vertical, I-sectoral hierarchy, linkages for integrated development. Conclusion of the answer is: caution in this regard would be avoiding organizational complexity by way of excessively tall hierarchies or unwieldy consultation processes, which could negate the effort. Processional constraints, therefore, would need to be overcome. Question number 3. Justify the need for FDI for the development of the Indian economy. Why there is gap between MOUs signed and actual FDIs? Suggest remedial steps to be taken for increasing actual FDIs in India. Let's start with the introduction of the answer. Apart from being a critical driver of economic growth, foreign direct investment, FDI, is a major source of non-debt financial resource for the economic development of India. The main body of the answer should be, FDI is significant for the following reasons. Number 1. FDI brings with it capital and technical expertise. Number 2. FDI brings with it better management practices. Number 3. It increases the competitiveness of the domestic manufacturers and service providers due to international competence pressure. Number 4. It supplements domestic investment to sustain high growth rate. Number 5. It could also promote growth by contributing to exports. India has attracted lot of foreign investment, however many of the signed MOUs are not being capitalized into FDIs. Thus there is a huge gap between FDI commitments and actual FDI because of certain drawbacks in the Indian economy like Number 1. Outdated labor and contract enforcement laws. Number 2. Multiple tax regimes. Number 3. Corruption and red tapeism. Number 4. High fiscal deficit and policy paralysis. Number 5. No proper exit mechanism in place. Number 6. Unsuitable investment climate due to heavy paperwork. Number 7. Poor physical infrastructure and absence of skilled labor. In order to harness the full potential of foreign investment, India needs to reform its market by urgently introducing certain measures like Number 1. Bringing the fiscal and CAD under control. Number 2. Single window clearance. Number 3. High government investment in physical infrastructure, especially in industrial corridors and ports. Rational tax laws. Number 4. Efficient dispute settlement mechanism. Number 5. Large number of investment summits. Conclusion of the answer is, the current Make in India and other initiatives are playing significant role in making India more investment friendly.